What's up everybody and welcome back to another crafted transmog video. Today we're going to be going over how to get both tailoring recipes out of the Botanica. Now they don't actually belong to the same set. One of them is Battlecast and the other is White Mend. So White Mend is probably my favorite and it's the one that I actually already have on this character, which works out really nicely because they are crazy expensive on my server. But before we get too far into it, I just want to point out, unfortunately, both bosses are kind of toward the end of the dungeon. So the first one we are after is from Thorngrin, and the White Mend is from Warp Splinter, who actually is the last boss in the dungeon. So hopefully that's the one you get first. Anyway, let's start running and we can talk as we go. So basically, you don't really need to kill anything outside of the bosses here. In fact, you can skip the other bosses if you so choose. It goes a little bit faster, but either way, I mean, it's extra raw gold, I guess, if you want to do that. I just always generally kill these just because at this point, this character actually is enchanting as well, so I just disenchant all of the greens because I need them for plenty of recipes at this point, especially, I think both of these call for imbued netherweave, which requires this right here, the arcane dust. So both of them require it. Not a big deal. Pretty easy to get. It's pretty inexpensive at the auction house as well. So I would first check there before you start doing what I'm doing by just disenchanting your greens. The other thing to keep in mind as we run is we're getting into some of the more expensive crafted transmog recipes here. So the downside to this is there is a pretty big upfront investment, especially on, let's just do the White Mend for example, the White Mend hood. So the I don't want to say the issue, but the problem with it is it's really beneficial if you have a transmute alchemist, because it requires, we're just gonna bring this up. We'll bring this up and we'll chat as we go. Oh, let's go to TSM here. Oh, we're in combat. That would help if we were out of combat. All right, please hold. Let's get out of combat first. I guess I didn't need to kill these. I was just kind of running aimlessly. All right, let's open this back up here. So let's go to White Mend. So this here, as you can see, it requires Primal Mooncloth. Let's go back. Primal Mooncloth, Primal Might, and Primal Nether. Primal Nether is really inexpensive. Just buy that off of the auction house. The Primal Might is the one that I would recommend getting from, use your Transmute Alchemist for. Because if you have a Transmute Alchemist, then there's a pretty good chance that with the 5 that you have to have here, that you will proc a couple, because I believe that you have to have it for Battlecast as well. And I will check that in just a second. But if you see here, TSM will show me, because I have this pattern learned, TSM shows me that the value for me is actually 72k profit. So a lot of upfront investment for the Primal Might. If I were to buy this off of the auction house, and I definitely wouldn't because I don't think it's worth it, if I were to buy it, that's 10k just for the White Mend hood there. So it says the crafting cost is 13.5k, which honestly isn't bad. I would definitely make my own Primal Mooncloth as well. So the one thing with Primal Mooncloth is that you have to go to a Moonwell to make it. So I always tend to go to Moonglade just because I don't know why. I think I'm just kind of stuck in that habit at this point. There are tons all over the world though. So if you just Google it, you will be able to see where all of the other ones are at. But like I said, I just go to Moonglade. I don't know why. It's stuck with me. This is the one pattern that I have not received. I've received it on my other server, but this is the server that I'm still hunting it on. I don't even know how many runs I've done. It's been a lot though, because it took me, let's see, it took me 10 runs to get the White Mend hood, and that was considered really lucky. I think I'm up to about 15 or 20 runs for this. Whatever it is, I intentionally made myself lose count because it's pretty painful, honestly, when you're just running in to kill that guy there, the Thorngrin the Tender. Pretty painful. Now, I will say, as always, I wouldn't necessarily pay attention to the drop rate on Wowhead. It tends to kind of skew to a bad way, as in a lot of people will run this and record the data but not actually be a tailor, so the percentage is always really small. So I've always been pretty lucky with it, minus minus the Battlecast pants for whatever reason. This one, honestly, it didn't take too long, and it's a little bit better when you have both patterns that you're looking out for because it gives you a reason to run to the very end and kind of run out. But there you go. That didn't take long. That took like 5 minutes maximum. Pretty easy, I would say. Pretty short dungeon, and then of course you can just run out right here and just keep going, just repeat on a loop. What I didn't mention at the beginning of the video, we're in the Botanica. So the Botanica is the northernmost dungeon right here. Pretty easy, just fly from Seathrift, fly to Cosmo Wrench, and then fly to the northernmost dungeon here. It's kind of nice because they added these in, so we don't necessarily have to have add-ons for them anymore. And it's actually, like, it's kind of weird with the map how they're laid out here, but actually, like, if you fly to where that's at on the map, it actually will bring you to the right location there. But let's go over these right quick. Let's go back over here to the White Mend Hood. So the White Mend Hood requires 10 Primal Mooncloth, 5 Primal Might, and 1 Primal Nether. Again, the Primal Nether is not expensive at all. However, the Primal Might does require, I wouldn't necessarily recommend farming the primals yourself. Depending on the price of the primals on your auction house, it might be worth it to buy the primals and then transmute it yourself, because that way you can almost guarantee that you're going to be proccing at least a couple primal mites as long as you have the transmute spec. So primal might requires you to have one of the following: primal earth, primal water, primal air, primal fire, and primal mana. So basically that's taking out primal life and primal shadow as well. So pretty expensive. I would say the primal air and primal fire are probably going to be your most expensive, followed by maybe the primal water. Pretty expensive either way though. And primal mooncloth is, like I said, you have to go to the moonwell or a moonwell to have it, and it requires one of the imbued netherweave, which is, it requires this right here. Your arcane dust requires that, and then this actually does call for primal life, and then it calls for a primal water as well. So you're looking at a lot of primals for this. So I'm actually really surprised that the crafting cost is only 13.5k. And I mean, that doesn't seem unreasonable for me, considering I could make 72k profit off of this. I do really like the look of this as well. I think it looks pretty neat. I actually prefer the Battlecast pants. They're, oh, you know what? They're like a bright, vivid purple. Let me switch over to the WoW UI because the TSM one doesn't show me unlearned. So let's go here. These right here, they're actually going for 87k market value. I don't even think there's any up on my server at the moment. So maybe I do have to keep running this. Anyway, look at how beautiful those pants are. I really, really like the coloring of that. Again, it requires 12 of the imbued netherweave. It doesn't actually require any primal mooncloth or anything, so this one will actually be a little bit cheaper. However, it does require 8 primal might, as opposed to the 5 required for the white mend. So a little bit less expensive to craft this one, but again, there's such a profit to this. So this one here has a 0.02 sell rate, and let's go back to the our other one here, white mend. Let's go to white mend. No, that's not the one I want. That's unlearned. I was like, wait a second. White mend hood here actually has a 0.02 sell rate as well. So really, really good either way. Even if you only get one pattern like me, definitely craft it. It doesn't hurt to have these up on the auction house at all times, because you never know when something like this is going to sell. And I've noticed there's definitely been an uptick since Shadowlands. So I've been selling a lot of transmog. I've been selling a lot of crafted transmog in particular, because I think a lot of people are going through and wanting to look a little bit prettier than I guess they used to, or they're coming back to the game and kind of getting into the transmog themselves. But anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoy this video. I hope you come out here and you have a little bit better luck than I do. Still hoping for my Battlecast pants someday. But guys, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you later.